welcome back to Drawing Stories with me, Cheri Charlton. I'm a Chicago illustrator and mural artist, and I'm here in my Chicago studio where I'm going to show you how to draw an octopus today. After we learn how to draw an octopus, I'm going to show you how to add more details to your picture to turn your picture into a story. When you're finished, you can color your picture any way you want. I'm going to use watercolor. Then when you're completely done, think about how you could take that picture and turn it into a story by adding words or even more pictures to turn it into a longer story. Okay, so all you need to get started is a piece of paper and a pencil. Let's go. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out where we're going to put our octopus on our piece of paper or in our composition. Remember, the composition is how you arrange or where you put all the things on your paper in your picture. So since the main focus of our picture is going to be the octopus, I wanted to take up a pretty big space, but I still want to save some room for some of the other things I want to put in my drawing so I can tell a story. I'm going to put my octopus in the middle, but over to the left of the paper. So it's going to fill up about 3/4 of the paper. This would be half, this would be 3/4. So I'm going to start with basic shapes. And then remember, after we break it down into basic shapes, we'll fine tune the drawing, smooth lines out, and erase anything we don't need. I'm going to start with the octopus's head. Now, octopus's heads tend to be kind of egg-shaped. So you want them to be a little bit wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. So you can start with a circle and then you can always adjust it later. But I'm going to tilt my circle a little bit and I'm going to draw a circle right about here. And then I might go back into it and make the top just a little bit wider than the bottom. I got to find my eraser so I can erase any lines I don't need. Okay, now a good way to start by figuring out where you want to put the octopus's tentacles is to start with some squiggly lines that come off of your circle shape you drew. Octopuses, they're called octopuses because they have 8 tentacles. So I want to make sure I have enough room for them. And they tend to be kind of swirly and move around really easily and wave around in pictures and videos I've seen of them. So I don't want to just do straight lines. I want to draw some lines that are a little bit curved, maybe similar to like an S shape. So I might curve down and then make a tentacle that kind of curves up. So there's one, and maybe I'll do one on this side. And this one and this one are going to be behind the octopus's head. Then I'm going to draw another one here and try to make them go a little bit in a different direction than the last one you drew. So I'm going to have this one kind of wave down this way. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where can I fit this last one? Maybe I'll have it kind of behind the head. 8. Okay, so I still have a little bit of room left to put some fish, maybe another character. Now I want to think about adding more details to my octopus. So I'm going to figure out where the eyes are going to go. Octopus's eyes tend to be on the side of their heads. So I'm going to draw 2 circles that are symmetrical or the same size, one on this side and one on this side. So make an oval here and an oval over here. That's about the same size, and you can fix your lines if you need to. So I'm going to go back in and make sure that my ovals are about the same size, look pretty good. And I'm going to wait to do the inside of the eyeballs till I figure out where my other characters are going to go so I can have my octopus making eye contact with one of the other characters. I'm going to work on the tentacles now. So the first thing you want to do is thicken the tentacles. So they tend to be thicker towards the head and get thinner at the end. So you're going to follow that shape that you already drew, and you're going to think about making them get thinner and then kind of pointy at the end. See how I followed that shape? And this one might overlap this one a little bit. I can always erase my line. This is going to be a tentacle that's slightly behind the head. The head's in front, the tentacle's behind. But this tentacle here is going to be in the front with the head. So I'll extend the head down a little bit, follow that line, get thinner as I get to the tip. I'm going to do this for the rest of them. In the front, you can make kind of like a, almost the end of a petal shape or a rainbow shape. I'm going to erase some of these lines so I don't get confused. I'm going to do that to connect these two to that kind of like petal or scalloped shape. Another tentacle, follow that line, skinnier at the end. This leg or tentacle. Oop, a little too wide. This one's in front of this one. And after you thicken your tentacles, you can always go back and change them or adjust them if you want to move one or make one a little bit more wobbly or wiggly. Like I might make this one in the front a little bit more wiggly. Here we go, or curved. Okay, then like I said, these tentacles are behind, so I'm going to bring down the front of the head, and this one, this one, this one, and this one are behind the head. So the head comes down, and we had 4 in the front. Okay, now I'm going to add a little bit of texture to my octopus's body. If you look at octopuses in real life, they tend to be a little bit bumpy or have little spots on them. And octopuses are actually really amazing. They can easily camouflage themselves so they can protect themselves from predators. But I think maybe I'll just put a couple little polka dots on my octopus's head and make them get smaller as I get closer to the eyes. And then you can always put a couple dots on the tentacles too if you want to add more decoration. You also want to think about the little suction cup things on the bottom of tentacles that octopus have. They tend to be kind of like little round shapes as well. I'm going to add a couple on here that you would see straight on, so we just maybe make a couple circles. And maybe I'll make a little line. And I'm imagining that my tentacle is moving around, so they're all not going to be in the same place. I can make them like this, like the tentacle is turning, little bumps like that. Some of them maybe you only just see the little bumps. In the front, you might not see them at all because it may be when the tentacle is turning a little bit. You don't have to put the suction cups on here, but if you want to, you can. You can just decorate your octopus with more spots or lines, actually anything you want, even stars. You could make a rainbow octopus. There are no rules in illustration. Whatever you imagine, you can draw in illustration. Now we're not drawing a face or, oh, we have a face, but not a smile on our octopus, because octopus's mouths are actually underneath them. But if you want, because this is an illustration and we can kind of stretch the rules, you could draw a little smiley face here too. But that's up to you. I'm not going to do it for mine, but you can absolutely add a little smile to yours if you'd like. I'm gonna make this line a little thicker. I'm gonna speed up the video and finish putting all my little details, suction cups, and maybe a couple more little polka dots on my octopus. Keep drawing and adding details to yours too. So once you finish adding details to your octopus, you've put some tentacles on there, you've maybe added some designs to the tentacles, maybe you added a smile, you could even add a hat, you could add a bow, whatever you like. Then you're going to think about what else is going to go on in your composition or your picture to help tell a story. For my story today, I decided that I'm going to have my octopus meet a mermaid. And the mermaid wants to be friends with the octopus, so she's going to sing him a song on her guitar. And around the meeting of my octopus and mermaid, I'm going to have a couple little fish. And maybe a couple other little details too. I'm going to establish a little bit of a horizon line, even though we're underwater. I know that if you've seen my other videos, I mentioned that the horizon line is usually that line between where the ground and the sky meets, but we're going to make a ground in our water picture too, just so I can put some objects on the rocks and have some plants growing on them. If any of you have seen pictures of the ocean or been to a lake or an ocean, you know that you can see or touch the bottom. It does start to get deeper and deeper, but there is usually a ground even underwater. So I'm going to make some rocky marks here along the bottom of my page. So I'm just going to make some little hills. And then I'm going to draw a couple little fish. I'm going to put one right here. When I do fish, I like to just break them down like I did the octopus into basic shapes. Think about like goldfish crackers, if you've ever seen those or eaten those, the shape of them. They tend to be a little bit curved on both sides and pointy at the end. So a basic fish shape is kind of like lips a little bit. So I'm gonna, or a leaf, very similar to a leaf shape. I'm going to add a fin on the back, which is going to be a triangle, and then a fin to the top, which is going to be another triangle, and then a little fin on the bottom, which is kind of a triangle too. I'm going to make another triangle here where it's the bottom, or it's thicker here, and then it points away, and then I'm going to make a little line here to separate the face from the body. And then you can add a little eye, you could add a smile, you could add textures to your fish as well. You could do some scalloped shapes, which are like those rounded repetition. Of this kind of curved shape. And then I can add some lines to my fins. Might draw another fish here. I'll do a different shape. This one, I'm going to start with more of a diamond shape. So it's going to be pointy at the top and pointy on the all sides actually. I'm going to put a big kind of triangle shape at the top, but I'm going to curve it a little bit like a shark fin here. I'm going to make that line to divide the face from the body here. Do an eye, little mouth. I'm going to have this fin on the bottom start here and do the same thing as the top one. Angle this way, curve in, and then the back fin, I'm going to do a triangle, but I'm going to curve the tail a little bit like I did the other fins. And then I can add some lines or decorations. And then I might add a little detail here or there to my rocks. So you could add a starfish, if you know how to draw a star. Kind of suctioned to the side of the rock. If you've ever touched a starfish, they can be really sticky. They have these little suction cups too, similar to octopus. Maybe I'll put some seagrass. I might add a shell. When I do shells, I can break them down into basic shapes too. Round the top a little bit. Maybe a couple more small rocks. More seagrass. We have some seagrass in the very front. I could add you could do other things too. You could add a little treasure chest, like a sunken pirate treasure. You could add a little crab. You could add some more fish down here. I'm gonna add one more, I think one more fish, maybe swimming in the front here. So I might have to erase a couple lines. And because this fish is in the foreground in the front and closer to what we're looking at, this one will be a little bit bigger. So similar shape as this fish, but I'm making it a little bit wider. And I'm going to give him some simple little tail fins. Erase some lines I don't need. Anything I've drawn through that this fish would be in front of, I want to make sure I erase the lines. I'm going to give this fish a little bit of an underbite, make him a little funny looking or tough, as I can make characters look tough. Maybe he has some teeth. He could be like a barracuda or a piranha. I'm going to draw that little line to separate the face from the body. I'm going to draw a little circle side fin like I did the back fins. I'm going to do maybe some zigzags just to make this fish look a little bit different than the other ones. And then a bottom fin too. It's rounded. Okay, now I feel like I need one more thing here to really make it feel like it's a story. So I'm going to add that mermaid I mentioned earlier, and she's going to be floating here. Oh, I forgot to erase a couple lines I don't need. Anywhere your seagrass goes over things. So it's easier to color it later too. So you can make yourself a mermaid if you'd like to draw a mermaid with me, or you can just add more fish. Your octopus could also just be hanging out with another fish or a shark. I'm gonna start with human top part, so it'll be a head, and I'm gonna make a little girl mermaid. So there's her head. Here's a rectangle shape for her torso. And then she's going to be looking this way, so we're going to see her a little bit in profile. And then I would draw her mermaid fin, because mermaids are half fish, half human. Make sure everything fits. Looks like I got everything on the paper and it fits. So now I can start adding details like where her arms are going to go. She's going to be looking this way, so I'm going to draw her nose here, her eyes. She's going to be singing, so I'm going to have her mouth open. Make sure I can lower this a little bit so I have room for her neck. Here's her shoulder, her arm. I'm gonna have her other arm holding a guitar. So I'm gonna finish working on my mermaid and adding details. You think about what you wanna add to your picture to really help tell a story. Who is your octopus hanging out with underwater? I finished my mermaid. Now I know that my mermaid is here, so I can put in the eyes and have them looking towards the mermaid. Now this could be a big part of your story. Maybe the octopus doesn't like this song, so you could make it look like it's a little bit cranky. Maybe it loves the song and it's actually dancing to her music. I'm gonna pretend that my octopus likes the song that my mermaid is making. And notice how I made my mermaid's hair kind of wild because it's underwater. Your hair doesn't lay flat. It actually moves around in the water. So that's why I made her hair a little bit wavy like that. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 big circles inside of my eyeballs. I might give my octopus some eyelids too, so he doesn't look too surprised. You could give them eyelashes as well. And then I'm going to also give it a little bit of an under lid too. And you could add a couple other details, like maybe some bubbles coming from the mermaid because she's singing and floating, a couple bubbles. I like to make the bubbles get bigger as they move away from the thing I'm drawing, coming out of the fish's mouths. Maybe some bubbles floating around my octopus, because when you move your body underwater, sometimes that can make bubbles happen. And if my octopus is dancing, it would definitely be making some bubbles. And you can see I made the mermaid's guitar a little seashell guitar too. And I added some little details, like I gave her a little tank top and added some details to her fin, kind of like I did the fish. But now I feel like I am ready to do some coloring. I'm going to add color with watercolor, but you can add color with any material you want. Think about colors you see underwater. Another thing too to think about is how you could use bright colors to make things pop out. So if you do a lot of blue for the water, think about colors you could use on your octopus and your fish and your plants to really make them pop. And again, you don't have to use realistic colors. This is an illustration, so you can use any colors you want. I'm going to start coloring mine. You can start coloring yours. And when you're completely finished, think about how maybe you could write a story that goes along with your picture, or you could think about a picture that you could draw of what happens next in your story and turn it into a picture book. Whatever you do, make sure you have fun, and I hope you enjoy drawing an octopus with me. Have a great day.